So hello and welcome to week 10. This week I am excited to share about because there's a lot that went on. So week 10 was a bit of a tougher week. It is more of an emotional week for me just in general, what that week means. But week 10, I was starting to deal with a lot of loneliness and feeling all alone and working through that. And then I started to get really tired and really emotional. And I want to share with you how I dealt with that. So this week, number one, I prioritized movement. I prioritized getting out for a walk if I needed to, walking on a treadmill if that was the only way to do that, and just making sure I was moving my body, I was stretching my body, and getting it to feel good again. And let me tell you, that switches your brain chemistry really fast and makes your days so much better. The other thing I want to talk about this week is how I personally deal with grief. And grief for me causes a whole spiral of emotional eating. Yeah, it really does. That's just how it is. And why? Is because I attach memories and people to food. The food I used to eat with them, all of that. I know that, and that's just how it is. So, how I personally deal with grief is probably way different than everyone else. It's interesting. Anyways, the number one thing that I often do is I make sure I recognize my feelings. I write down what I'm missing about that person. What am I missing? Why am I missing them? If you want to go really deep, you can write a letter to them about everything you feel you'd want to talk to them about. And then what I often do is I will make a WildFit version of the food that reminds me of them. And this week was the week that my grandmother passed away. And I've talked about her lots because I was very, very attached to her in the sense through food. And one of the big things with her was cookies. I loved her cookies. She was the best baker ever. Like, honestly, yeah, an amazing, amazing baker. And so this week I made cookies. And what was the most surprising, exciting thing about it is I baked my favorite WildFit approved sugar cookies, and I didn't eat any for a night. But I didn't eat any. I didn't really want any cookies. I'm like, yeah, I made these. I made these for her because I was missing her, and that just brings back memories and helps me work through it. But I don't really need to eat it. Don't really need to eat it at all. So when the day, like the actual day that she passed away came, I had a couple cookies. Sure, they tasted good, but they weren't really what I wanted. So I ended up giving quite a few of my cookies away. But that is personally just how I work through it. I still make and I still eat what reminds me of them and what makes me feel good. And I know I am emotional eating, and I am 100% doing it consciously. I'm not just eating and eating and eating and drowning in my grief. I am making it to bring back those memories, to put a smile on my face, and then to enjoy it while thinking about them. And that's how I deal. So hopefully that helps a few of you, especially if you are a WildFitter and it's a struggle for you to actually, I want to eat this food, but I feel guilty for eating it. The guilt is not worth it. The guilt is not worth it at all. And if you want to eat that food, choose to eat it. And even better, find a way to make it that isn't going to harm or hurt your body. And that's what I do. I find a way to make the foods that I crave around the people I love healthy and allow me to eat them without having all the negative consequences. That's just what I do. So this week was a very big emotional roller coaster week, and I got through it by giving in, I guess you'd say. But giving in the sense that I knew what I needed to do to make myself feel good and to experience those emotions, because there's no point in bottling them up and leaving them there. That was week 10 for me. So you could say week 10 was a big one. It is just happened to be around a day of the year that I particularly don't enjoy. That's just how it was. And yeah, it was a good week. I learned a lot, and I'm actually very thankful that I was on the challenge during it all, because I had a coach to support me, and I was able to work through it a bit more and be even more conscious of it than I would be normally. So yes, thank you. Thank you for that. But that is all. That is what I wanted to share with you this week about week 10. Crazy week for me. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again in week 11. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more WildFit videos, more tips and tricks, or just personally how I deal with things to maybe help you or spark some ideas on how you can positively deal with different things. So, thank you for watching.